Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We are now getting ready for the top cut here, and what a diverse set of decks we have so far. We are looking at, honestly, one of the most diverse top eights that we have seen so far. Not a single duplicate leader so far. Our first match we're going to be checking out is going to be the Chewbacca and Thrawn. But before we do that, let's talk a bit about what the meta is looking like. Because honestly, so far, everyone was expecting Obi-Wan and Lando to be the dominant decks going into this weekend for both this PQ and I imagine for Palm Springs later today. But we're not seeing much of that here right now, right? We have a single Lando who's made it into the top cut, but not a single Boba Fett, not a single Luke Skywalker. We do have some space representation through Darth Vader and Kazuda, but I mean, this has been one of the most evolving metas that I have personally ever seen in a TCG. From one week to the next, we are seeing huge amounts of changes. It's very hard to pinpoint what actually is the best deck, if there even is one. There might just not be one. This might just be the most perfectly balanced game ever made in the existence of humankind. Um, but yeah, we can go ahead and check out some of the deck lists for the first match that we're going to be watching, which is, as I mentioned, it's going to be Chewbacca versus Thrawn. Not exactly the decks we were expecting to see today, but I am very happy to see that. This is the Vigilance Chewbacca list, as opposed to the Cunning one that we're seeing, that we had seen rise in popularity. And quite the interesting deck list indeed here. Some cards that you would not expect. Now, normally Chewbacca is considered to be a heavily aggro deck, right? And normally when you think of heavy aggro, you don't think of Vigilance, as it's more of a, maybe not control, but a value-oriented aspect. And we're seeing that aspect in this case used in a way to just make your Chewbacca bigger and harder to deal with. Some very interesting upgrades like diplomatic immunity, mastery, nimble prowess. But of course, the elephant in the room, the main reason to even play Vigilance is the Alliance Outpost base. For those who don't know, that lets you convert an experience or a shield or any other token, honestly, into another token type, right? And most of the time, they're going to end up using some form of shielded unit on the first turn, transform that into a credit so that they can deploy a 5/6 leader on turn 2. Very interesting deck. And the other deck that we're going to be looking at right now is going to be Thrawn. Thrawn Yellow, right? On Crystal Caves using the Force base. This is very similar to what you'd expect to see in the more common Mother Talzin or Jabba the Hutt running Crystal Caves, or running Yellow Force base rather. The most notable difference, and the main reason to even consider Thrawn, of course, though, is the Legacy run. It is such an incredibly powerful tool, especially since we no longer have access to Overwhelming Barrage. Having that Legacy run completely wipe out your opponent's board sets you up for a late game where usually you have higher value. And I believe with that, we're going to be jumping into the game. I don't know if my co-caster is here just yet, but that's all right.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here. Hello.
Oh, oh man, feel
Good.
free to barge in at any time.
No, it's okay. Great analysis. I'm excited to see how this game turns out. I think with the blue base with Chewbacca, specifically the shields, that legacy run play is definitely going to be hindered because there will be shields that need to be popped first before you can unlock the next 6 damage, right? And I think that
100%.
yeah,
But luckily, I mean, if you do double up on the legacy run, the first trigger can get rid of all the shield, and then the second one can deal with the actual units themselves.
yeah. Hopefully, it's not a really souped up Chewbacca with a bunch of upgrades though, because that would be a very painful to try to get through.
Uh, Absolutely, especially in a world where we don't have too much in terms of sentinels running around. I say that as a lot of the popular hero decks have things like Chirrut, Lando, Typho, but Thrawn doesn't, right? Thrawn has access to 3 Chirruts, which would, without a doubt, mess up Chewbacca's plans. But I mean, you're gonna have to find those Chirruts, right? And even then, if you do find it, if it's not early enough, you have commenced the festivities to just walk right through them.
Exactly. And I think I saw in the deck list that there was no retaliation in Thrawn's deck. So it's going to be very difficult for him to deal with a Chewbacca that's upgraded, especially if you don't have cheer roots in place as well.
Yeah, you're right. There isn't any direct removal that can get rid of the leader whatsoever. There is condemn, and that is worth noting. While Chewbacca does have a fair amount of upgrade removal in his deck, the fact that Chewbacca costs resources to deploy means that if you condemn him on the turn that he's deployed, he can't really deal with it. That's a whole turn you've just wasted.
Right. And it looks like the unit was the space unit condemned? Because it
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
yeah. We have the Red Squadron A Wing, I believe, is called, who has been condemned here. Knowing that condemning a high value unit like Chewbacca is likely going to immediately be removed by an upgrade removal, it's okay to use your condemns early like this. Most notably, oh, apologies, we saw that incorrectly.
Okay, that makes
Well,
a lot more sense because I was
yeah,
wondering why the damage went through. I saw the condemn being played. Sorry. But when the 4 resource turn, a Talzin's assassin comes out and defeats the space unit. And in counterplay, Secretive Sage defeats the Night Sister in order to get that card draw.
yeah, Chewbacca is playing this very slowly, and the main advantage of the Alliance Outpost is being able to deploy your Chewie early. So I wonder if stalling it this late is kind of counterintuitive to what the deck is trying to do. That said, Chewbacca on his flip is able to defeat that Talzin's assassin, losing a couple of resources, of course. But I mean, that's kind of what the deck does. You want to be below resources than your opponent, so you can dish out some festivities to your opponent. And right now, the board state is heavily in Chewbacca's favor, with already 9 damage on the board, a shielded Chewbacca, and nothing on Thrawn's side.
Exactly. Thrawn is going to be in a very tough position to try to scoop back. I think I see a Legacy run in hand. Again, with the shielded Chewbacca, it makes it much more difficult to deal with that. And I think he'll probably get upgraded. I see a Mastery in the Chewbacca's hand as well. Probably going to start slamming some cards down. Sheen Flurry.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right, Sheen Flurry on Talzin's assassin, definitely the second best target for that flurry in general. However, this time, not a lot of amazing targets to hit because of that Chewbacca being shielded. You're not really dishing out an insane amount of damage. Looks like we gave the -3/-3 to Chewbacca and simply attacked into the Secret of Sage, the Sheen Flurry preventing the 2 damage from that Sage from going on. And an upgrade played here. Is that a moral authority, I believe?
I think it's
Nope.
Mastery.
It's a mastery. Okay. So
Right.
completely counteracting that -3/-3 that was just given by the assassin and opting to just hit base again for another 5. And honestly,
Well,
preparing that assassin for his next attack, right? Already 2 damage on it. So if that Chewbacca isn't dealt with immediately on swing, the assassin will die.
right. And I forget if the Governor Shuttle is in the main deck or not. If it is, this would be a great opportunity for Thrawn to just throw that down and be able to defeat Chewbacca because it is the sole unit. I think it's I think it's in the sideboard. I have to check.
It is in the sideboard. There is no Governor Shuttle in the main board, and that's usually not something you would bring in against an aggro deck. But I suppose since this is more of a Voltron-esque aggro, maybe you should consider bringing it in.
Tal's assassin coming in, popping that shield, trying to get in a position where you can get that Chewie off the board. It is critical because Chewie is swinging for 8 damage a turn.
Yeah, I mean, we're already at 22 on base for Thrawn here, only 6 more to go. And not only do you have to deal with the Chewbacca, but you're also going to have to deal with whatever he is about to play now, probably in space even.
Right, split the difference, put Thrawn in a very difficult checkmate position, or rather a fork. And even if there's a Sentinel in place, probably has commits festivities to be able to punch through.
For sure.
Looks like
Okay, now that is a card that you don't see every day, right? That is, I believe, the T6 Shuttle, the 3/4 heroic card that says when this unit is attacked, you can give an experience to it. And a very interesting card, probably being used because of a lot of people running Eager Escort Fighter that ambushes for 4, while this does not get defeated by it.
Yeah,
And I
that
mean,
was definitely a spicy card. You don't really see
yeah,
that being played too often, but really good place. Looks like Thrawn has scooped.
yeah, yeah. As I mentioned, he has that Chirrut, and it is a good card, but you need to find it on time, and it doesn't seem like we found it on time. It's crazy how quickly this game turned around. By turn 3, when we noticed that Chewbacca hadn't deployed and that Talzin's assassin had come down, it kind of looked like Thrawn was stabilizing. Although saying you're stabilizing by turn 3 is a bit of a stretch, it was still you had that sense of safety and confidence as the Thrawn player, and then within the span of 3 turns, so much damage was dealt that Chewbacca had become so large and impossible to deal with. What an explosive deck.
Right. We see the deck list coming out again. So Thrawn definitely had okay. Governor Shuttle in the sideboard. Do you think you also bring in Tree Remembers in this matchup?
I think you do. I think you do. While you normally you'd use that for piloted ships, you don't have to worry about that. But just any more tools that you have to fight off the early units is important. There are a lot of upgrades in the Chewbacca deck, and they won't always necessarily go on the leader. We saw Cinta Kaz, for example. It would not be unlikely to put a mastery on that, for example. But I think more importantly, the main reason you bring it in is because as the Thrawn player, you have so many late game expensive cards that just do nothing in this matchup, right? I don't see a world where you're gonna get to play Thrawn in a reasonable capacity. You absolutely do not need the aggressive negotiations to close out the game. So there's a lot of easy decisions on what to take out, and you might as well bring in cards that could potentially be useful.
I agree. I think to me there's even a case where you throw out the Darth Vaders because he's not able to come in time to be able to defeat units. I mean, it's a good stabilizing card. And or the Anakin Skywalker because sometimes just a -3/-3, yeah, saves you some damage, but your entire turn has been taken. And I feel like you might want in this matchup, you might want the Tree Members Governor Shuttle just to get those units off the board faster.
Absolutely. And over on the Chewbacca side, a lot of one-ups in the sideboard. It's a very interesting setup that we have here. And the Corellian Hound is a card that I absolutely love. I think against a deck like Thrawn, that could be very, very powerful, especially as an answer to when your opponent plays a legacy run and then maybe uses Chimera to clear your board. You can just drop that Hounds down and finish off the last remaining points of damage. Uh, but I mean, it seems like the sideboard here is being used more of like to fill up whatever you don't have 3 of in the deck rather than to solve any particular problem. I mean, when you are the aggressor, you're the one usually asking the questions instead of having to find the answers.
Right. This person's after my own heart. I do love having a lot of one ofs, and then the sideboard is just beefing up what you need. I think here I probably remove the Arvin credit card, the 3 cost 4/3. Probably bring in something like another moral authority to get rid of any sentinels and or you know uh the legacy run in space. Having those options to be able to push more damage and also clearing the board for you to push more damage.
I'm going to fight you on that Arvel Skeen removal, and my reasoning is going to sound extremely stupid. And I think that if you have gotten to a point where your opponent has stabilized with only a couple of points of health left, you might want to simply drop an Arvel to defeat your own credit tokens and then deal the last remaining damage to your opponent's base. I think just because of that, you might keep that in, as silly as that sounds. Do I think that's going to happen? Definitely not. But
That's a very you know what though? That is the kind of three-dimensional like four-dimensional like thinking that sets, really great players such as yourself away from the Padawans such as me, such as myself. Because I never would have thought defeat your own token to do 1 damage to unit or base, which could clear Chirrut on the ground. It could do one, that ping damage that you need. That is a very spicy take, and I would take it.
yeah, and I mean, especially as a Chewbacca, usually by turn 5 or 6, you end up having so many credit tokens that you just don't use because the entirety of your deck costs 3 or less. The only card that costs 4 or more in this list that we're looking at is the Kazuda, right? Even Mastery costs 3. So yeah, you have more credits than you possibly need. We're going to start off game 2 here. For some reason, we have 22 points over on Thrawn's side. We can get that fixed real quick. But, all right, take us away, Gil.
Yeah, we see very basic, very standard starting opening hands and plays from both players. Karis on the ground, and I think that's a
The
yeah,
black
black
one.
one
Yeah.
base. That's a great play, especially if you put pretty much a free R2 unit on it and makes it much bigger.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what you expect to see usually from the Chewbacca. They usually start in the space and then they switch over to the ground. But it's one of the only first turn plays I believe that Chewbacca has that doesn't generate a token. So he's not, once again, not going to be able to accelerate his leader on turn 2.
Yep. Seeing Condemn come down and then a Kaz no sorry, Cinta on the ground side.
I mean, you have to be happy as the Chewbacca player seeing that Condemn used so early. Uh, but I'm interested into why. Well, let me rephrase that. It's curious that Chewbacca opted to claim the initiative rather than attacking with the black one. I think the knowledge of your opponent's hand this early could be very useful. But then again, so is the initiative, right? What am I saying? If you don't have the initiative here, that Karis just attacks into this Intikaz and defeats it.
And then you might, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I'm overthinking this.
get that
Yeah.
damage in. That force ability is not going to be able to defeat anything. So that's a really good, I think, defeat. And there's still 3 resources in order to, potentially drop another unit on the ground.
I mean, you still have your 3 resources and a credit, so you can still deploy your leader.
Oh, exactly. Tyrannus coming out to clear out that Cinta, pop the shield. Shouldn't and the force is still back with you, for sure. Looks like Chewie's taking some time to think about what their next play is going to be. Not deploying, that's for sure. Interesting. Diplomatic immunity, right?
Yes, the black maybe played on that black one. I guess we're going to be seeing a constables here to take that condemn off. It's the only thing that really makes sense. Yeah, there you go. And
Yep.
that constables, not only did it just help you deal a bunch of damage, but it cleanly trades into that Tyrannus, and Thrawn doesn't have an easy way to deal a single point of damage, right? That constable's going to get the 3 damage in. Whether that goes into the Tyrannus or to the base is entirely up to Chewbacca. But yeah.
Yeah, this is not an Aura Singh matchup where that unit will just be
Yeah. I
very,
mean,
like you said, very clean trade.
this is the biggest difference between Thrawn and Mother Talzin, right? Not being able to deal with these small units. And at the 5 resource turn, I think Thrawn would have much preferred seeing a legacy run here. That would have been great, especially since Chewie is not deployed yet. But a Chirrut is the next best thing.
Yeah, and with the force, can't necessarily punch through with the double whammy of your Outer Rim Constable and a Chewie follow up. So really, really good play there. You got to stick the Chewie. You got to stick the Chirrut on the ground when you can, especially with the force. He's trying to stem the bleeding and hopefully can stabilize by 6-7 resources, which it looks like he's getting close to. Even though you're taking 5 hits, 5 damage in space every turn.
Yeah. And I mean, we did see a commence of festivities in Chewbacca's hand here that will let him bypass the Chirrut. It looks like Tyrannus opted to attack into the constables. That is a very curious play. I guess didn't want a easy way for Chewbacca to get the damage in, maybe after defeating the Chirrut, which is going to be easy to do here for Chewbacca. You can simply, oh, okay, we're not even going to use the leader ability first. We're just going to attack and use the when attacking to pop our own resource, make that credit. Yeah, because I mean, if we hadn't traded the Tyrannus into the constables here after Chewbacca clearing the Chirrut, the constables would have been able to either do the trade himself or attack the base. But I mean, there is a strong argument to be made for. There is a strong argument to be made for Tyrannus to have waited for the Chewbacca deploy and to attack into the Chewbacca instead. But looks like we're just going to use the Alliance outpost here, get rid of our credit, and give a shield to our leader, who is currently at 3 health.
Right, and we do see the second Chirrut in Benjamin's hand. Don't know if he'll stick it on the ground, especially without the force. It's just gonna be defeated immediately, or just circumvented. It looks like he's thinking hard.
Yeah, I just want to mention that during the attack of Chewbacca last turn, I believe the player asked Thrawn first if he wants to use the Force or not, and I think Thrawn using the Force was a major mistake because if you either way that shirt it's going to be defeated, right? And no matter what you do, Chewbacca is going to be taking the 3 damage. The only difference would be whether Chewbacca defeats his own resource to make a credit or not. And clearly he wanted that because he used that credit to get a shield. And because of the way Thrawn played that, he does not have the force right now to finish off that Chewbacca with a Talzin's assassin. Now, that said, he doesn't have that assassin in hand, but there was always a chance to draw it off the top of your deck. So it was a bit of a faux pas, I believe, from Thrawn's side, but I don't know if it would have mattered in the grand scheme of things. This is a ridiculously fast game.
Yeah, and sticking an R2D2 pilot on that black one, slamming for more damage, putting him again in another checkmate, has to claim. He's again another fork because with a commence of festivities on the ground, and there goes the scoop.
Yeah, I mean, our first round of Top Cut finished here in under 20 minutes. I think really showing you the speed of Chewbacca. I guess vigilance is now the aspect of aggression. Move over, cunning. We don't need you anymore. Yeah, I guess we will see you guys after a short break when the other players are done with their rounds, and we will see you in the top 4.
Hello, everyone. This is Gil with Panel Unlimited and Dinosaur Gaming, bringing to you commentary for the top four, which will be Mother Talzin versus Mother Talzin Green Force versus Yolaren. On what we see on the screen is the Mother Talzin deck. Pretty standard stuff, I think. I'm going to turn this over though to Dinosaur as the resident Mother Talzin expert. What do you think?
I really like this deck. This seems very different from what we've seen in the past from other Talzin Green. I mean, Talzin has been having great success in almost every single color. Maybe not with Lake Country, we're not there yet. But what's interesting about this list is that there's a lot of upgrades, right? This is kind of what Mother Talzin's answer is to space most of the time, especially when you're playing green. You don't have access to the great tools that, I mean, aggression can use a lot of upgrade removal to deal with pilots. Cunning can either bounce them or use commandeer. You don't have that when you're playing cunning. So instead, it looks like we're running things like craving power and mastery to just beef ourselves up and eventually race those decks, I suppose. The Jar Jar is a very spicy card. I would have never expected to see in a Mother Talzin list, but I love it.
Yeah, that's a very spicy card, and I think one of the things that I like about green is that you have that Maz Kanata start, uh, similar to what a lot of Obi-Wan blue players are running. You can play Karis, then Maz Kanata for 4 to defeat their opponent's units, something that people probably are not expecting from a Mother Talzin green deck because it's a little it's a little out there, but I really like that, and the sideboard looks like a lot of just one ofs that is just going to fill in where Mother Talzin needs where they might be having issues in their matchups.
Yeah, and I mean, look, command is a very powerful aspect for Mother Talzin. The main problem when you're playing green as your secondary color is that there are absolutely no good force units in the 3 cost slot in either blue or green. Uh, Half of the reason to even play cunning is because of Shinhati, Darstraya, or things like that, and we're seeing it here. Maz Kanata, Latsrazi, Knight of Ren. If your turn one is punished hard by, say, something like Crushing Blow or an Axe Forgets, you're not going to get the Force anytime soon. And that's a problem. You need the Force by turn 3. You need to be able to drop a Tyrannus. You need to Talzin's Assassin or a Chirrut. And if they deny you early, you could fall really far behind.
Yeah, exactly. Think we see the screen changing over to the Yolaren red deck. I think something that we've seen a lot of play. I think I've seen maybe one or a handful of PQs being won by Colonel Yolaren. Seems like very standard deck build. I do like the play of an L337 legendary where you can get more units on the board potentially, especially since there's a lot of droids here. Going wide, helping you, get the units out instead of being punished for only having one.
Yeah,
What do you
absolutely.
think?
I mean, yeah, it's a fairly standard list for Yularen. I mean, we've seen this and we've seen the other version that runs the 27 health base with the aspect cheating, where they run the, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. It's one of the IGs there, the 6/3 shielded. Um, it's a very powerful and very fast deck. But I have to say, if you are this Yularen player, you're not happy to be going up against the Talzin. Talzin more or less eats this deck alive, right? It is a primarily ground focused deck where your units are not inherently sturdy. You have a lot of cards here that have just 1 health. And as I said, that I'm looking back through, and there's only one of them with 1 health. But my point stands that most of your units are very fragile. Mother Talzin can just run over it. So the question really becomes, can Yularen dish out enough damage so fast that Mother Talzin can't keep up? Maybe you're going to really have to rely on the Invisible Hand and Devastators. I can almost guarantee that that second Devastator is going to come in post sideboard. It is a borderline crucial card in the matchup.
Exactly, and I think that's a system shock card as well. Definitely going to be critical to bring in because Mother Talzin, you got to expect that constructed lightsaber on the flip turn, which would then make Mother Talzin such a huge beast to get through. And then the raid too makes it. He shows he's doing just punishing your side of the board. I think the unit you were talking about, the off aspect 6/3 with shielded, was IG88.
Yeah,
the
that's
blue
the
red
one.
build. Yeah, that
Yeah.
card. If that was in this deck, yeah, that's very very nice
I mean,
to be able
it,
to
it
pull out.
is a nice card, but it is not good against Talzin. You raised a great point though about the system shock coming in, and this is where the importance of having access to your opponent's deck list in the top 8 really matters. If they were in a Swiss round and in the first game, Mother Talzin ended up not playing too many upgrades, right? Maybe you just saw one constructed lightsaber. You would not bring those in, but now that Yularen actually sees Mother Talzin's deck list, seeing the 3 sabers, seeing the mastery, seeing the craving powers, you're like, whoa, this guy runs almost 10 upgrades. I need those system shocks in. So it makes a huge difference.
Right, right. Yeah, totally agree. And then looks like we're about to get started. Opponents are shuffling up. Is that Yularen with the initiative? I think that's initiative token. Can't be
That
force.
does, yeah, that does, no, I mean, yeah, no, it's definitely not Yularen Force. We're not there just yet. Um, but yeah, I think that's a beautiful Yularen showcase there on the left. So the showcase advantage definitely going to Yularen here.
That's really what matters.
Oh yeah. I mean, style points are more important than galactic points. Everybody knows this.
Okay, but very very important for Yolaren to have initiative game 1 because it sets the tone for them to be able to actually get units on, potentially attack, get the damage in, forcing Talzin to react until she gets a positive board state and gaining value throughout each turn.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm glad to see that the droid package that was not introduced this set, but like emphasized this set with L337 and interrogation droid has found a home, right? It's a package that's really fun to play, and we did see some of it last set with Piet Red. It kind of was looking like it was going to be orphaned with no good leaders, but Yularen has picked up the slack here, taken over. I am still waiting for the day until somebody extremely spicy plays an L337 and pulls a heroic K2SO for a ridiculous game swing. So to all the players listening today, please do that. I will gladly cast your game. Ah,
Yeah, we got to do a reaction video or sound like, "Oh my gosh, L337 pulls out the K2SO." Wipes the board.
I can guarantee your opponent would not have accounted for that, especially if you're in the Swiss rounds. And yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like everyone's still writing up. Not too much nervous energy. Maybe there is, shifting the mats, but we're getting the cuts, the deck cuts, and hopefully we can get this game started soon. It's been
yeah.
two
I
minutes.
mean, you're talking about two decks that are fairly fast. I don't think there is the concern of timing out by any means from either of these players, so they can afford to take their time.
Very true. I'm just a Nancy person. What can I say? All right.
I just wanted to double check here. In the Mother Talzin deck list, we don't see a lot of late game, right? Sometimes when they're running green, you notice things like Nihilus or Lawbringer. We don't have that here. It is a
No.
very mid-range deck, focusing really hard on upgrading Mother Talzin herself. The highest unit we have, I believe, is the Sun here, only as 2 copies. So
Right.
I don't
And they
know.
have the Cantwell Arrestor Cruiser in the space. Yeah, Sun and Cantwell is the only thing they have, which I think is still fine here because once you get to if Mother Talzin's getting this point, I think the game's on lock.
I mean, that was the point I was kind of bringing up. It kind of looks like, despite Yularen being the aggression deck in the meta, in this matchup, it does have almost as much, if not potentially more, late game than the Talzin. I'm not saying that's what Yularen should do, but if we were to get that late, the cards that are drawn could have a major factor. Yularen might have a shot to just stick an invisible hand or a devastator and just go for game from there.
Oh, for 100%. Invisible Hand, yeah, giving you 2 units, a Devastator coming out, self-aggressive negotiation. So if you put them if you put them Mother Tiles in the fork, you're gonna be able to swing big because you don't have to resource after 6, 7, 8.
Well, we cannot possibly say these players are not shuffling enough. That's for sure. It kind of feels like we've been shuffling for somewhere around 10 minutes.
It was against Tim, and I still almost got it.
That's I think one is like above average.
Weil ich glaube, mit Data Vault, du hast 12, 13? Bei mir ist es ja 80% mit 12.
Okay, and we're back. We had some minor technical difficulties here, but we're going to be jumping right back into the game. Finally, yeah, we missed another minute of shuffling. It's not the end of the world.
I really want to see this hand doing just enough. The players are doing just enough. We got 2 Tyrannuses on the Mother Talzin hand, and I think I see a Night Sister Warrior. Probably
Yes,
gonna start
and
with
a
that.
Marin maybe. No, what am I saying? Marin is red. I'm just colorblind.
Okay, HK
Oh.
and Night Sister start pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about when when we were looking at the deck list. If Yolaren attacks that Night Sister Warrior with that HK, you more or less deny the force for a solid 2 turns for that Mother Talzin, unless Talzin opts to instead play another 2 cost. And at that point, you're just slowing yourself down. And that HK hitting the sister is not the end of the world. Instead of dealing 2 damage to base, you're going to only deal 1.
And it looks like they're actually going to base.
Okay.
Interesting play. I'm with you. I would have attacked that Night Sister Warrior. Deny the force now.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
that's going to come critical next round.
obviously we have the information that there's 2 Tyrannuses in hand, but even if you don't have that information, you have to try and deny that for your opponent here, right? Uh, maybe Yolaren was playing around the Latrazi, and you know what? That's a very fair play. But at the end of the day, you're only missing out on 1 point of damage because at this point, Sister trades into the HK anyways, deals 1 more damage to base. Actually, yeah, so it ends up being an extra 2 damage on the base. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why
And
are
even
we
then,
not putting? We're missing a point of damage on the base here. That Night Sister Warrior being defeated should have triggered HK47, dealing a damage to the base.
exactly. Judge call. Well, we see the Lats come down. We're still okay with this because Lats, although it defeats a unit, does not generate the force next turn.
Yeah, but you already have the force, and Tyrannus doesn't consume it. So I think that the train has sailed on that. To mix up all of our anecdotes there,
Oh,
all of our
right.
expressions rather. But we do see a System Shock picked up from Yolaren, I believe, if I saw that right. And System Shock is a perfect answer to Latrazi. Doesn't matter if you have an experience on her or a shield, it will defeat it for 1. So that could be a nice momentum builder. And if we don't forget to trigger the HK, that will be another point of damage dealt to the base as well.
Would you use it on the Lats Razzie, or would you save it for the eventual Tyrannus that you're going to see?
I mean,
Because
that
if
Tyrannus
comes in.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That Tyrannus will be able to ambush, keep the shield, and stay with 1 health. Looks like, yeah, we're just going to trade here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at least this time we did not forget the HK trigger, that base being at 3. Remind me if I forget it. If at the end of the game, this Mother Talzin survives with 1 point of health, somebody's going to have a very stern conversation with Mario. But outside of that, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it looks like both players just passed. Okay, this is very interesting. We know that there's some Tyrannuses in Talzin's hand, but we don't exactly know what Yolaren is holding. And there's a chance that he did not have a powerful 4-cost play, and so opting to skip the 4-resource turn might not be the worst idea here.
I agree. I mean, like we kind of mentioned, there's not much top end in Mother Talzin's deck, and with the Devastator and then ability to just get to 6 and then start throwing multiple units on the board at a time, I think that's actually a pretty good move. Instead of getting your unit defeated by, I don't know, Talzin's Assassin or something on this turn, on the 4-resource turn, now you're getting to 5, 6, 7, and you're going to be able to. Yolaren's about to going to be able to flip and deploy multiple units in a turn. Every turn going forward.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, the fact that Yolaren can now flip on an empty board makes you feel a bit safer, right? I don't believe there's any card from Talzin that can come in. Oh, wait, Talzin has the initiative? Either we did not move the token or we simply passed again on Yularen's side. I'm a little confused at what's happening here, but the players seem to have a plan. going forward. Talzin deciding whether to plot or not. We did see some Jar Jar Binkses in the deck list.
Right.
And
If there's that,
actually,
if that
that
Jar Jar,
yeah, that Jar
that's a good
Jar would
play.
actually, yeah, that would actually put the Yolaren in a kind of a check situation, right? You can no longer deploy your leader safely unless you have your own plot to answer for it.
But doesn't look like he's coming out with Jar Jar. Just a blind flip into the 5-resource turn.
You know, it's
For
the
Mother Talzin.
intimidation factor of flip into hold on, let me look at my resources. While you just look at all of the 2 costs you've put in there that do nothing and just stare at it and don't let your opponent play for a minute. All right, we're gonna move past that joke that didn't land and have Yularen flip over here. And looks like we don't even need the Jar Jar. Maz Kanata helps one-shot that Yularen. I am really curious to understand what happened with the initiative here, because last turn it kind of felt like Mother Talzin was the first to pass, and Yularen maybe claimed. So I don't know why you would give up your opportunity to deploy first as Yularen there.
I don't know either, but Mother Talzin building a very strong ground presence with the Force. Looks like Yolaren was only able to drop 1 unit that turn. That must not feel very good on the flip turn.
Yeah, I mean we're still a long way away from calling this game to either player. Mother Talzin is notoriously weak into space, and we are now at the 6 resource turn. So if we see a well-timed invisible hand or L337 here to pull out some droids like the interrogation droid, you can definitely slow your opponent down and dish out a massive amount of damage before Talzin can even react.
Right. No, fair. And there, interestingly enough, there's still no damage on Yolaren, Colonel Yolaren's base. It's the first damage of the game with 3 from Maz Kanata. Full resources on both sides. Yolaren is put in a position where he has to potentially just make plays. I feel for me sometimes it's an opportunity to pass because I don't know if I want my units removed by something. But he's playing all 6.
Yeah, but at this point, if you pass, Mother Talzin has no reason to not just deny you turns, right?
Yeah, agreed.
I know. There's so many attacks. Well, anyways, we saw the invisible hand come down, and what a beautiful invisible hand that is. We're gonna have to see if he can pull out something interesting here. There's a lot of 2-cost droids that you can play, but most of them don't do anything crazy when played. The only one you'd actively be looking for right now is probably Interrogation Droid, and even then, you kind of have to tap the Mother Talzin, otherwise it gets defeated for free on swing.
Exactly. Looks like he's thinking. What is that?
Oof. Okay,
Oh.
we don't even find the 2-drop. We're just gonna take another missile platform and just gonna add it to hand instead.
Right. I mean, that's still a huge. Yeah.
It is, but a 6/6 that draws you a card is significantly worse than a 6/6 that plays a card.
Mm.
We're gonna have to see if just the sheer amount of stats in space is gonna be enough to race the Talzin, which I mean, this game is looking to be a race, but the condemn is gonna slow Yolaren down considerably.
100%. Maybe system shock next turn. Get rid of that condemn. I thought I saw it in the hand, but I could be wrong.
We
see
did
it.
see. I think we saw it in hand early. They might still be there as the second card. It's a bit difficult to tell. But
Oh wait, system shock is in the sideboard. That doesn't exist.
oh my god!
Apologies.
Yes, we are both playing a completely different game here. Um, Either way, I think System Shock would have been a bit dangerous here. If you do System Shock on the invisible hand, you take it down to 5 health, and at that point, your opponent can craving power on any one of his 3 power units. But let's forget about that hypothetical situation that could possibly not happen unless one of the players has their sideboards already in the main deck this early.
And Yolaren does have the initiative, I believe. So he's gonna probably lead with a double swing. See what happens.
Yeah, I mean, well, realizing that we saw an event in Yolaren's hand, but it's not the System Shock. It was probably aggressive negotiations. So that's something we can't discount because there are a lot of cards in Yolaren's hand here.
Very true, and no, it's not really an incentive to go to 7 resources right now. Just keep swinging, see what happens. Put multiple units on board, try to race.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of telegraphing to your opponent that you're not holding a Devastator because now, even if you do draw one, you can't play it next turn.
Yeah.
But I don't think a Devastator would potentially make a big difference with a board state like this, especially with that sun coming down.
Ugh.
Ay, ay, ay. That is an extra 8 damage that's coming in this turn. We are already looking at 11 damage in play plus the 8. So that's 19 damage going to be on Yolaren's base unless we find a way to stop it.
Right. And for the uninitiated, the sun is a 7 cost, 6/8 force unit. And while the force is with you, each friendly unit gets +2. Huge turn that Yolaren, I don't know.
It's not even every friendly force unit. I believe it's just every friendly unit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Each friendly unit gets +2.
So even that Maskanata and the Lots Razi that normally would not have been buffed get bigger. Okay, we finally found the interrogation droid. It comes in to tap the Maskanata, discard a card, and we see the I always forget this little droid's name, the one that removes an upgrade there. The DRK1 probe droid come in and remove that condemn. Is it gonna be enough?
I don't know. That's the entire turn. Like you
That
said,
is
I think
the
it was.
that is the entire
Yeah.
turn. However, that interrogation droid did slow the opponent down a little bit. We're currently looking at 8 damage from the units plus 6 from the sun, so 14 damage added to Yolaren's base here, assuming that there's no trading done whatsoever, right? And at 8 on your base, even if that were to happen, that you're looking at 22. There's still a chance for you to win this game.
Right. What would you do next round? Would you double swing with, let's say, the visible hand and defeat a ground unit, or something
No, so
else?
the thing is, if your opponent simply attacks the base with everything here, that sets you to 22. Then that's 8 away from being defeated, which means that the sun in a single attack would be able to defeat you. So
Oh,
your
right.
only realistic play is to, in some form, attack with the invisible hand and hope to find an interrogation droid. Whether that is with aggressive negotiation or with Yularen's ability is completely up to you. I think there's pros and cons to either play, but I think this match. This entire situation relies entirely on finding that droid or not.
Exactly. Tap it down. I am curious to see how many cards does the Yolaren player have in hand, because it's 6 plus.
Yeah,
What,
I mean, I
another 6
counted at
maybe?
least 7 cards in their hand, I think. So we have a potential 6 power aggressive negotiations coming down. It's interesting that he has so many cards in his hand, and then he hasn't, as far as I remember, he hasn't drawn any cards. I think it's just from the fact that both players skipped a couple of turns, so he didn't have to play anything. Very strange situation to find yourself in.
Yeah. And even if he, so the question here is, he needs to somehow deal with the sun and then stop at least 1 or 2 other units on the
No,
board in order to not.
he doesn't need to. If you start this turn with Yolaren ability and attack with, say, both of your space units, right? You're dealing 10 damage, and if you find the interrogation droid to slow down the sun, then at that point your opponent can realistically only deal with one of your ground units, so you can instead use aggressive negotiation on the other one.
Interesting. Right.
There is definitely an argument to be made there. Instead of attacking with the missile platform, with the second attack of Yolaren, you attack with your ground droid instead. That way, you leave one unit open in space and one open on the ground. I don't know if the math tracks on that. Let's do some quick math while the players are thinking here. The wait, what did we find here? Oh no, we just
Can't tell.
found the 3/3 droid. It is just not gonna be enough. Yeah, the sun swings for
Fortunately.
game here,
Aggressive doesn't
and
work.
that's going to be it for game
That's the
number
risk.
1.
Otherwise, I lose. You have 17.
Well played for both players, though. This board state
Wait,
is just
do you?
massive. I mean, there's so many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like, almost 10, 12 almost 10 units on board. 7, 8 resources. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if skipping those early turns really did Yolaren any favors, right? We saw how close the game came, even with that turn skip, just really showcasing the power of both Invisible Hand and L337 to just put a bunch of junk in play. But for your junk to have value, there needs to have been other junk that your opponent deals with first, and in this case, we just didn't have that.
Right. So I'm interested to see what both players end up sideboarding in. I think the Yolaren player will have to. Well, they're definitely going to try to bring in the system shocks. Probably drop a Devastator. Maybe
No, I think you bring in the second Devastator. I
interesting.
think
Okay.
I feel like you need reach in this matchup for when you inevitably lose the ground arena. I don't think that once Talzin is deployed, Yularen stands a chance on the ground arena. At that point, you need to do a full-on swap to space. I hope they bring in the system shocks just so that we look like less of silly people just claiming that they have it. I think some other cards like the more fragile cards like maybe Dengar can be removed in the matchup. I don't realistically see you defeating more any of Talzin's units. And you know what? It turns out that extra miss damage from the HK-47 did not matter this game. That's good to know.
Right. That would been that definitely would have been controversial
Yeah.
if they won by only 1 health. So going on to the Mother Talzin deck, I think they'll
There is, I don't see much in the sideboard that's potentially for this matchup. You can definitely bring in the hyperspace disaster if you are worried about big ships eventually overwhelming you. And there's only one no glory in the main, actually. Oh, I didn't realize that the last time we checked this deck. There is
yeah.
almost no direct removal in the deck to deal with Invisible Hand.
Yeah.
You kind of have to rely on your Craving Powers or your Cantwell Arrestor Cruisers. Interesting.
Right.
I can absolutely see the second No Glory coming in, the extra Condemn coming in. But I think that's about it. You definitely don't really care for another Dugoyan Master or any additional of the Suns. This is not the matchup for it.
Right. Would you take out emergency powers? Do you think?
Maybe. I don't know. I think a well-timed emergency powers on a Chirrut could completely win the game single-handedly. But I mean, as a single copy of, I'm not sure if it's necessarily warranted.
Yeah, I agree. Just curious, every time sideboarding decisions is both a science and an art, and this is one of the ways that games are decided, right? So I'm just very curious to see what you would take out. I think I'd probably also do the same thing. Emergency powers has a time and place, but I think in this matchup, like you said, I think having a condemn and another no glory to kind of remove problem units on the board from the equation is probably better to beef up what you already have instead of trying to stick, I don't know, more damage with emergency powers.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And yeah, I mean, I guess last time around we didn't deny the force to Talzin, and in hindsight, it didn't end up mattering. But we'll see if this time around Yolaren should still have the initiative going into this game. So we're gonna see if it'll go any different.
Right.
I think they haven't even started shuffling. No. Okay, there we go. We're still shuffling here. Got to make sure that we utilize our entire hour and 15 minutes that we have for the top cut. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Our top 8 game finished so fast, it was just not fair for the viewers. And so to fill the time here, these lovely gentlemen are intentionally shuffling more than your average casino blackjack table.
Somewhere drunk.
But it looks like Yolaren won the race. Yolaren has declared that they are done shuffling. It looks like we're going to start up game number 2.
I'm very excited. You know, one card that we haven't really talked about that I am actually a fan of, and it's probably the only really good card in its kind of combination. Eighth Brother, the 6 cost 5/7 force unit with ambush. Probably the only like good force card in that color combination. So it's I want to see it played on 6
I
resource.
love this card. I have kept 3 hyperspace foil copies of it, and I've tried to make it work so much, and I'm very happy to see that it has found a home. Oh no, guys, both of the players have mulliganed. We are right back to shuffling. Uh,
Just one more thing.
it's okay. That gives us another 10 minutes to talk about Eighth Brother. So I love this card. I love the entire theme of it. I think Ambush Unit as a 5/7 is very powerful. I mean, clearly, this is the same stat line we had for Vader. So for 1 less cost, you get the same body, but no extra pull from your deck. And a nice little flavor bonus of using the Force for a little extra +2/+2. And the thing is that most of the time Force decks are already winning the ground, so it turns out that an extra ambush on 6 wasn't very useful. But it looks like Mother Talzin Green has found a way to utilize it. I guess mostly to take out things like I don't know, Captain Typhos maybe, some Lando Calrissians that you can use Eighth Brother and finish off using your leader ability. But most importantly, I think just anytime you see Force and Ambush mixed into one, it is something to keep an eye on, because a lot of the time when your opponent is locking you off of the Force, it kind of bricks your deck, makes it so you're not able to do what you want to do. And Ambush can come in and solve that. We're seeing that quite a bit with things like The Stranger, for example.
Exactly. And I think one of the reasons why I like it so much, just especially with a Force deck, you need to get it. And this is one of those things that interacts with the board immediately with the ambush, but then also gives you something you desperately need if your opponent has been keeping you off that resource the entire time. I say resource, but I mean
Exactly.
like the Force. Um,
Exactly. And I mean, look, the jokes just write themselves. The players were done shuffling their decks, but Mother Talzin wasn't done, so he just kept shuffling his hand instead. But we're finally getting into the game.
Starting off with that Dark Trooper and Karis.
All right, looks like a very basic opener for both players. Definitely favoring Talzin at the moment, since you're able to defeat that trooper without losing a unit.
And we 3 to base. Looks like I'm going to assume that Karis is going to attack something
I
to
mean,
get the force.
not necessarily here, because that droid trooper could immediately be defeated by a Lats Razzie, and that would be very, 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 very not good. Yolaren here, but I guess based on what we're seeing, there might not be a Lats Razzie in hand. You might be also planning on maybe dealing with whatever they play next. Oh, okay. There is a constructed lightsaber in hand. Maybe we're considering doing that.
Nope. Looks like 2 to base, turn on the force.
All right, and we're gonna see that 000 come down here. And oh, there was a Lance Razzie. Okay, I'm very curious as to why we chose to attack with Karis instead. Because now that Lance Razzie, I suppose now Last Razzie with an XP could defeat the 000. Nope, we're just gonna defeat the droid. I can't help but feel like the sequencing was a little off here, because if you had done that first, and then your Karis would have been able to attack into the 000 and defeat it, winning you the board state completely. Now you're kind of you're letting your opponent attack your base. There is no red card in the discard, so I guess it's only gonna hit you for 4, but it's still an extra 4 damage that you did not need to take.
Probably a long day if you think about it.
Yeah, that's an aspect that a lot of people just forget about. You are only watching the top cut, but these players have been playing for the entire day, sometimes upwards of 12 hours in a row. And so basic mistakes at the top cut might look poorly on the player, but mental exhaustion is a major factor that is often overlooked.
I think here the best move, one move that I would take is just attack with the Latrazi. It doesn't give you the force or anything. Put the damage onto the base. Have the opponent play something that you can react to. Maybe you'll be able to take it out with Tyrannus or a Mother Talzin or a Talzin's assassin.
And we did see the assassin in hand, and I think we're considering playing the assassin and then using the leader ability to finish off the 000. That way we clear the board and maintain all of our units.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. I generally like to shy away from using my resources and just playing with the actions first, and then spending my resources second.
Absolutely. And if you had done it the way that you recommended it, we would have been able to defeat that IG 2000 that just came in.
Exactly. And now there's a board presence on the space that Mother Child's going to have a harder time dealing with. But still, I mean, the ground's looking pretty good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, the advantage is still on Talzin's side, but I do agree that it would have been significantly better to deal with the space unit now than to deal with it later. We'll see if it ends up mattering.
Right. And I think I probably would have attacked with the Lazarazi first.
I don't think that really
then-
makes a difference here.
Well, because now Karis would have started with the Force. If
No,
Karis
no, no.
attacks second, no?
So Talzin's assassin ended up using the force when played. So Karis had to attack to generate the force and then use it again with the leader ability. So no matter how you sequence it, you were gonna start this turn without the force.
Right. And that's why they pay you the big bucks. Daniel.
I don't know who they is, but my paycheck must have been lost in the mail.
You see IG 2000 swinging in for 3.
Man. Yeah. Look, Talzin has a lot of clean answers to this. You could potentially craving power it. I mean, craving power would be the best answer here. And especially if you use it on, say, Talzin's assassin, you can kind of set up a block for when Yolaren deploys. But kind of doesn't seem like we have it.
Turning on the Force, 4 damage to base, putting Yolaren at 10-11. Near even going into the flip turn for both leaders. I don't know if I saw any plot cards for Yolaren. He's not playing FN Troopers or anything like that.
Well, I believe he has the plot patine, right?
He does. He does.
yeah.
He has 2 of them. Right. I am the Senate.
Yeah. And that, I don't think it would do much here. Talzin would be able to defeat one of them with her leader ability combined with her attack, and the other one can just be defeated by, I mean, the attack itself, I guess. Not a great solution to the current board state.
Looks like he's considering his play very carefully, flipping Yolaren and not paying anything, just blind flip.
Their craving power is in hand, and looks like we're just gonna play it on the assassin. If I saw that right, that was only one of 2 craving powers in hand. I don't know how a Yolaren can deal with a back-to-back craving power here. This is going to be an insane amount of value coming in from Talzin. Man, even with that 000 coming down, Talzin can just defeat it for free using her leader ability twice and using Karis as an attack, losing absolutely nothing on board. Things are crumbling for Yolaren. We really gotta hope that he finds an invisible hand for the 6 resource turn. That's his only realistic way of coming back from this.
100%. I wonder if he has a 2-drop as well to be able to play something fully utilize his resources. I don't think I see anything in hand though. Mother Talzin minusing using her leader ability to put the 000 into a easily killable, defeatable range for Mother Talzin. And we do see the DNK droid remove that craving power.
Yeah, and that's one less craving power. It's one less upgrade removal available to Yolaren. Something worth keeping an eye on because Mother Talzin is playing condemns. You have to be very careful what you're removing. There's just too many of them to remove all of them.
Looks like Mother Talzin's debating what to do. I would assume you're taking out the 000 in this scenario, and that seems to be the case.
Yeah, it makes sense. You take out the 000 and okay, interesting that we did it in this order. You could have done it either way. You could have attacked the probe droid with Talzin instead and finished the 000 with Karis. Looks like we're just gonna do it the other way around. It's just a question of like which one of these units do you prefer having more damage on it. I don't know if it's relevant in the current
Right.
state of the board. So we're seeing, I believe, two other craving powers in Mother Talzin's hand, another Latrazi and a Mos Kanata. And I think that last one was a mastery. This is an insane amount of upgrades and power that's just gonna come out of nowhere. It really messes with the math, especially a deck like Yolaren is a math equation disguised as a card game, right? It's a lot of the time you have to very carefully calculate what is the maximum amount of damage that you can dish out and take yourself, so you can just barely scrape by and finish the game. And when your opponent is playing so many upgrades that just completely shift the math, it makes your life a bit more difficult.
Looks like Yolaren ended up playing aggressive negotiations.
Yeah, and aggressive negotiations that did, I believe, an extra 2 damage only.
Right.
Yeah, looks like we're down to 1 card in hand for Yolaren here. Not looking very bright, so to speak.
Right. No, I'm interested to see is he gonna put a mastery down or clear the board more. All right. It looks like Mother Talzin's gonna go into base for 3, giving the -1/-1 to the IG 2000. Okay.
Yeah, setting that down to 3 health, maybe for an assassin or an Anakin. I don't remember seeing one of those, but my eyesight is not what it used to be.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mother.
okay.
There goes Talzin Assassin, and it
Turns
looks like
out,
this game is on lock for Talzin to win on the next turn.
yeah, we're already at 26 damage on Yularen's base. Any one of those assassins can just finish it in a single swing. And even if you use aggressive negotiation and pretend that you have an extra 5 cards in hand, it's still not enough. And that's going to be it for the game. I was right. There were 2 craving powers.
Wow. And the
Yeah.
escort fighter, Adam. That's so much good stuff in that hand. Amazing. Yeah, Yolaren was
Yeah, I mean,
struggling. to sort stuff
you
out.
aren't started on the back foot right off the bat. If you start with that droid trooper, as good as a 3/3 is on the first turn against any deck that plays Latrazi, you just lose the board so quickly. And this Mother Talzin really showing why, no matter what your secondary aspect is, you have complete dominance of the ground arena. And I guess Yularen was simply not able to pivot into space quickly enough.
Exactly. Well, congratulations to both players for making it to top 4. I'm excited to see who wins the other matchup in this tournament, which I believe is a Chewbacca, the Chewbacca that won last round, as well as a Kazuda Data Vault. That should be a very interesting matchup. I think Chewbacca comes out on top there, just because he could do.
I believe that game has ended and Chewbacca has won it. So I think we're gonna end up seeing Chewbacca versus Mother Talzin. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's gonna be it for the top 4 guys. Stay tuned. We will get to the finals shortly.
Aber ja, es ist nicht, vielleicht ist das der Plan. Das ist echt die Force bekommen. Aber die ist dafür gut.
Wenn du den Master tatsächlich spielst, hast du im nächsten Zug auch keine Force.
Nee, ich werde auf 4 kein Force haben. Dann muss ich das einfach. Das stimmt. Und hier ab und zu auch. Dass die mehr.
Well played. Gratuliere.
Rematch.
Amazing play. It was a good day. And well played by Amber. Sideboarding Turbo Laser Cell.
Weißt du, was der Clip auch drüber hat? Der Kopf. It's again about shuffling. Kommentatoren sind so rude about both players shuffling their decks. So, it's the same.
It happened again.
All over again.
So I can stay here basically.
Ah, schade. Aber gut gewesen. Aber das zweite Spiel, wenn wir schon von weitem gesehen haben.
Ja, ich habe nach dem zweiten, dritten Turn schon gedacht, das wird nicht.
Ja, vor allem habe ich gesehen, er hat alle Craving Powers gezogen.
Ja, ich habe verrückt gezogen.
Ja, ich habe keins gehabt.
Ich habe die nicht mal brauchen können.
Er hat gesehen, er hat beide auf der Hang, hat eins gespielt, du hast eins kaputt gemacht, er hat das nächste gezogen.
Wenn ich eins gehabt hätte ich es auf der Dingsicher gespielt, um den 4-4 kaputt zu machen.
Auf 5. Ja, ich habe gedacht, das könntest du machen, deshalb habe ich angegriffen. Aber den Leader verlierst du gleich halt.
Ja,
Einen Weg oder mit dem anderen.
Du musst angreifen, wenn wir da liegen.
Ich hätte Talzin's Assassin im Leader gespielt und aber ich hätte, ja, es ist ein bisschen mühsamer.
Ja. Ich glaube,
Dafür spielst du halt nix für einen 5, also du zerstörst mir was. Ich glaube, so wie wenn ich so ziehe, kannst du nichts machen. Ich muss sagen.
Von schnell mit auf den Zug?
Ja. Cool. Aber es ist für mich auch das Worst Matchup. Also,
ja. Ich meine, es ist im Grunde, warum man Talzin spielt. Diese aber eben im ersten Game scary und es war knapp von dem her. Das erste Game hätte echt anders aussehen können.
ja,
Ohne die Sun oder
wenn ich dort dann nochmal einen Interrogation Droid finde,
ohne das.
dann hätte es.
Zwei.
Dann hätte es
Aber hattest du du spielst 2?
3.
3? Hattest du einen gesehen oder Resource vorher?
Einen habe ich auch gespielt.
Ja. Gab es noch 2 im Deck oder einen?
Ja, noch 2.
Ja, sowas fliegt das Game, ja.
Ich glaube noch 2. Ich werde jetzt nicht falsch sagen, aber ich glaube noch 2. Ja. Also die Chance war da gewesen, aber ich wusste, es ist klein. Und es wäre einfach Glück, wenn ich es finde.
Ja, ist auch Glück, wenn du es nicht willst. Es ist ein bisschen, jetzt hat sich das nicht mehr. Ich habe meine Chancen genommen und das war, wenn es nicht reicht.
Und es ist well played und well deserved. Und good luck für das Finale. Und ja, eben cool, sind wir nochmal gegen einen Spieler.
Ja, voll.
Du bist völlig auf meinem Radar.
Ja, ich war halt. Das Game hat es gegeben und ich habe recht viel gespielt mit Tees und es gab noch nicht viele Turniere und dann bin ich in den Austausch gegangen nach Japan und habe 2 Sets einfach verpasst. Und der Domi war alle am Zerstören und der Tees hat auch ein bisschen länger gebraucht, bis er richtig stark wird. Aber ja, ich komme halt vom Schach und das liegt mir recht, das mit dem Rechnen und so. Und Hearthstone, ich weiß nicht, ob du Hearthstone kennst. Das ist auch so ein TCG, online.
Also du spielst Schach richtig, ne?
Ja, also ich wollte Profi werden.
Ja, okay.
Also früher, vor 3-4 Jahren.
Ja, ich habe immer gerne Schach mit einem Kollegen gespielt und wir sind beide so auf einem guten Anfänger. Weißt, so, wir wissen schon, was wir machen. Und
Ja.
haben viele, weißt, so alle 1-2 Monate haben wir einmal so eine Partie gemacht miteinander, auf dem Balkon draussen, gechillt. Und das ist und dann hat er angefangen.
Ja,
Dann hat er angefangen in einem Club zu spielen und jetzt habe ich keine Chance mehr.
ja, man macht ja schnell Fortschritt.
So. Was?
These those two Chewbaccas.
Can you read that? There's some kind of watermark. Yeah, it's invisible, but it's some kind of watermark here with text.
Kriegt das hohe Ding noch zusammen?
See it? You maybe have to wiggle it around yourself. There's some, it's structured. It's text.
There is a.
And it's text, but I can't read it. Maybe it's a lawless time.
But this is super good.
Yeah, it's good.
This is super good.
Oh, it's truly Chewbacca.
Ja, verstanden.
One last one.
Chewbacca.
Oh, he's slipping. So, no.
You should move more these things.
Yeah. But Mario. Hast du die genommen?
Gerne schicken, aber es ist nicht. Und es hat nicht Überraschungen drin oder etwas.
Das ist noch deine, oder?
Das ist meine. Das ist cool, ne?
Ja. Das hat so eine Struktur drauf, aber ich kann es nicht lesen. Siehst du? setting da etwas. Aber vielleicht ist
Haben wir
es
Stress zum Aufzug?
eben, ist mir ja gar nicht geschaut.
Theoretisch 10 Minuten, praktisch 20. Also
Eher 20.
10 ist schwierig, glaube ich. Hey, cool, jetzt hol ich mal einen Peak. Gut, danke noch. Ich bin jetzt massiv zerstört worden auf dem Umbro. Aber es ist auch nicht überraschend.
Ja,
Es
ich habe schon
ist
gedacht, Talzin ist schon
ein schwieriges Matchup. Aber es ist von den Talzins, habe ich das Gefühl, das angenehmste.
Ja.
Gerne ist am
aber es
schlimmsten, habe ich das
halt
Gefühl.
auch der Ambition.
Aber er hat halt auch Carries into Lazioazzi, into Assessing. Also weißt du, das ist halt so viel. Er hat alles gehabt. Und ich so, shit, er hat das, shit, er hat das auch, shit, das hat er auch. Ja, da habe ich gar nicht viel verraten. Ja, das ist jetzt wieder ein mega schlechter Play von mir.
Safe travels, guys!
Good luck.
see you and good luck in London.
Oh, what's it?
Sorry? Yes, of course. This time I can be closer.
Yeah.
I'm flying on Thursday.
Yeah.
Zum Glück gibt es kein Ready Falcon mehr.
Ja.
Jetzt haben wir Ready Falcon sehr easy.
See you.
Bye. Darum kann ich Counter spielen. Ready, fucking gone.
Ready, Falcon gone.
Ja, nebst für andere Reasons.
Rose.
Hast Platz.
Wie viel hast du bekommen? 3?
Ja, ich könnte noch ein paar Stranger brauchen, also 3.
Let's go.
Gut gespielt.
Danke vielmals. Das war cool.
Aber wie ist das? Schwieriges Matchup.
Also jetzt habe ich verschossen. Also es ist schon machbar im ersten Game. Das erste Game ist nicht so schlimm gewesen.
Ist okay, ich
Aber ich habe schon gesehen, er tut schon eins, der Droid, er carries. So ja, das ist schon scheiße.
Ja, nicht der geile Droid. Nicht der Damage schießt. Der BT1, wenn ich den finde, das wäre viel besser als der Tank. Ich habe einen Mulligan müssen machen, weil ich habe einen 2-3er Droid gehabt als einziger Turn 1 gewesen. So. Ah, nein, in der ersten Hand habe ich 5 2-Cost-Units in der Hand gehabt. Und dann habe ich gefunden, was will ich mit diesen 5 2-Cost-Units?
Mit den 3. Ich habe mal eine Hand, 3 Jädel, 2.
Er hat viel mehr Disruption als das Kaliber,
Du musst nicht alle 3 Jädels machen.
aber er hat keine Begehrlichkeit auch. Weil ich denke, ich kann vielleicht auch einfach so ein Ice Game nehmen und nachher ein Master nicht.
Ah, willst du schon sehen?
Ja,
Ich habe einen
Ich
Zug
gewusst,
geschaut.
dass
Zum Sagen, jetzt hat gerade jemand geschrieben, man hört alles im Stream.
Also das war auch.
Wo ist das Mikrofon?
Kann man einfach schon das Mikrofon nehmen.
Ah, das wäre mir
Aber läuft. Ah ja, es streamt
Dann
schon.
ist es 8:45.
Das ist doch
Wir können auch probieren.
Privacy.
2 Minuten bis zum Ball. Assistent machen.
Tschüss, good luck, mach's gut.
Tschüss, Tschüss. Ciao. Bye, thank you. Tschüss.
Yeah, of course.
All right, folks, and we are back now for the finals, and it seems that there is a huge halo of light on Chewbacca. He has been chosen for this game, but we'll see if this game starts anytime soon. We have on the right side our prominent shuffler, Mother Talzin. We've already seen this deck list. It is, I mean, we've seen both of these deck lists. We can try and take a look at them from the point of view of this matchup, see if there's any difference. We saw the T4 shuttle played by Chewbacca in the top 8 match, and the effect didn't really come in to be handy. But Mother Talzin is indeed running the Eager Escort Fighters, so that is a great unit that's going to be hard to get rid of. However, the Red 5 is still vulnerable to it.
Right. Who do you think is between the two? Knowing the matchup and seeing the cards, who do you think is favored in this final?
It's hard to say. I kind of feel like Talzin has all the appropriate tools to deal with the Chewbacca. Uh, but I think it really depends on whether or not you find your Chirrut on time or whether Chewbacca starts in space. Because if Chewbacca starts very aggressively in space and is able to deal out enough damage by his flip, then it doesn't matter if you can deal with him on flip because he'll just overwhelm you just through commence the festivities or other pumps like that. But I think in general, I would strongly favor Mother Talzin into aggro. That's generally what Mother Talzin is good into, especially a list like this that has incredibly good stall cards. You have Condemns to deal with Chewbacca, you have Craving Powers, you have Chirruts. I mean, it's going to be hard to break through.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I think one of the cards that I'm surprised to not see, but also based on the build, it's okay. The Whirlwind of Power card, I think, has always been, I think, a very critical component to interacting with space for Mother Talzin. That plus, the Supremacy Ties with the 3/3 shield, 3/3 Sentinels in space. This Mother Talzin build does not have those units, so I think that if Chewbacca does lead space, it is going to be, I think, a little bit more difficult than a typical Talzin player to deal with.
Yeah, that's a great word you used there. Interact in space. It kind of seems to me, based on this deck list, that Talzin does not care about interacting in space. Does not care about interacting at all. There's no Whirlwind of Power, as you mentioned. There's no Shatterpoint, right? There's just so many of those defensive tools not in this deck. It kind of seems like this deck is built from the ground up to be the aggressor, right? To be the beatdown in a matchup, and I think that's probably what helped this player make it this far. I'm saying that as a compliment, right? Your opponents, when they see Mother Talzin, they don't think of it as an aggressive deck, especially a blue-green deck, right? These are the two least aggressive colors, but with what we're seeing in the build, it kind of looks like this is playing almost as aggressively as Chewbacca is.
Yeah, and I love it actually. The fact that what people would think is a control deck almost, right, is going to just slam your face, doing damage, I think more critically, outvaluing your opponent because you have all those abilities that help defeat on the other side, especially specific on the ground, while building your board, is just so good for Mother Talzin deck that I would not be surprised if Mother Talzin takes this all the way.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see. I think my main point of advantage that I will give to Chewbacca is that Mother Talzin does not have a way to deal with Chewbacca if it gets too big, right? If you do manage to stick a diplomatic immunity, for example, or a mastery on your Chewbacca, there is absolutely nothing in Mother Talzin's deck that can deal with it easily, outside of, I suppose, the Arrestor Cruiser. But if you've made it to the Arrestor Cruiser, Chewbacca has already messed up at some other point.
100%. And
And
with that shield too. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. All right, so I mean that nimble prowess as well is going to come in very relevant, I think. It's a nice way to deny your opponent a force generation when they might dearly need it. And yeah, as you mentioned, shields are good in the matchup. They're less good in this matchup than in many others, just because Talzin can bypass it with things like the assassin. But if it's on a big enough unit, yeah, they're pretty hard to deal with.
Right. I do like the diplomatic immunity card in this matchup. It's going to be really, especially if you stick it on a Chewie, it's going to be really hard to just defeat him. Like you said, there's not much that Talzin can do, and one of the only other interactions is got to deal damage to it. But the only way to cleanly do that without punishing yourself is, especially considering a Chewbacca will probably have a shield on it, is to just keep slamming units into his face.
Yeah, I mean, this player has really surprised me in how they use Alliance Outpost, right? I expected that to be used primarily to deploy Chewbacca early on turn 2, but I believe both games that we saw in the top 8, instead of doing that, they used the credit to give a shield to Chewbacca after he attacked. And that is a very clever way to just make your leader incredibly difficult to deal with. A 5/6 shielded on turn 3 is no joke. I don't think there's anything in the game that can deal with that easily, especially if you have other units in play.
Yeah, so if you're a Chewbacca player, learn this line because it is a little different than what people typically think, but has clearly been super effective.
All right, I think we can jump back into the game here. I imagine the players are probably done shuffling. Ugh, never mind. I'm Yeah, okay, maybe the round hasn't started yet. The timer is 2 seconds off, just as a little bit of a tease. But
You
hey,
gotta
look,
love those. Gotta love those Plo Koon sleeves, triple sleeved probably on the Chewbacca cards. That's a galactic special, I think.
could be. I don't know. I remember the Mace Windu sleeves from the Galactics. I don't remember the Plo Koon ones, but I know that there were some great things at the Galactics. Some of the products that they have there are just so fun to. Not only do they look amazing, they're not necessarily expensive, and they look amazing. They feel amazing. They're high quality. You cannot accuse them of cheaping out on that. That's for sure.
Right. And speaking of galactics, whoever wins this, again, if you're new to the game, like all other Padawans are out there, gets 100 points, which gives them an invitation to day 2 of the Galactic Championships, which is a really, obviously, you don't have to grind for 9 rounds on day 1, and you get some amazing prizing going into that as well. So good luck to both these players. Hopefully, they are able to go to Las Vegas in the United States this year to participate.
Yeah, good point. I mean, I don't know yet if these players have any points already. This late into the season, it's not uncommon to see players making it to the finals of a planetary qualifier, even though they are already qualified for Worlds. There's honestly not much left, right? They even mentioned it on the stream this week, I believe, that by the end of May or early June, there will be no PQs left, even though there will still be slightly over a month to the set. So we're going to very quickly know who has made it into the Galactus and who hasn't, and who the top 32 players are going to be.
I'm interested to ask you for your opinion. Is Alliance Outpost just a better security complex? It has 1 HP more. It can give an experience or shield token to any unit, not just a leader unit.
Go ahead, Gil.
While you think,
I'm going to build
while
my
you think,
thoughts. Yeah.
Denso, I would say yes. I mean, like you said, there's shield. It's, to me, the flexibility that this provides is just too good, right? It's the value can be more than just a shield. It can be a credit and or experience as well. I just think that plus extra health, solid. Yeah, definitely better.
I think in a world where there is no Chewbacca, it is a strictly worse security complex, right? Needing to defeat a token to make a token is not appealing. But a deck like Chewbacca that just throws out credits like there's no joke, it makes Alliance Outpost a little bit better. Could you argue that giving a shield to your leader is enough to make it better? Maybe. We already saw near the end, right before rotation, there were some Kazuda decks being played with Security Complex that were giving a shield to the ship and then deploying. So there were ways to get Security Complex to do what you wanted anyways. But no, I wouldn't say it's strictly better. I wouldn't say it's strictly worse. I think it's different enough to be its own thing. Anyway, spaces aside, we're now going into round number 2, and both players opted to simply trade out their Karises. We have, of course, evil Karis and good Karis who love to just defeat each other. And the initiative is going to be with Mother Talzin going into the round, which is perhaps not what Mother Talzin wants. Oh, and we did double check here. Mother Talzin already has 215 points for the Galactics, so already qualified, doesn't need these. And same goes for the Chewbacca player here at 160 points. So you know what? Both of these players are already going to the Galactics. Probably they're already qualified at the very least. So at this point, they're just playing for an extra promo and some bragging rights.
Was just looking that up. 100 extra points probably puts them into somewhere around the top one, definitely the top 100 for now. I think they're going to start closing in on top 64. The 300 point bracket starts somewhere around top 64. So if they're trying to make a run, this is going to be really great for them.
Yeah, I mean, with the promos that were announced this week, they look extremely appealing. So getting into that extra bracket of points is such a nice feeling, especially if that's the only way to get those promos. It's a very nice, respectful thing from FFG for its players who love the game and are participating in many other PQs. It's one of the problems that we had in the first year. Even though that was considered season 0, it was still unfortunate that somebody who had won a planetary qualifier was no longer incentivized to go to any further ones. So this is a nice little touch.
Love it. Yep, and now we're going into the 4 resource turn with 1 unit on each side of the board, a shield and Latsratsi. Looks like another Talzin has initiative, but
that is curious. Yeah,
attack for 3.
It looks like Mother Talzin has the initiative, and that would make sense because we saw her play the Latsratsi first, and the red 3 came in after. But it was probably a pass here. I'm not sure why you would pass if you know that your opponent's going to attack with the red 3, but I think there was another pass here. Talzin just wants to stall and hope that Chewbacca deploys first. I think Chewbacca can afford to do a little bit more diddling around, right? You can use your leader ability to potentially pop the shield. Oh, never mind. System Shock comes in and takes out that Latsratsi. But
Great
that
play.
means it is a great play, but it also means that now Chewbacca cannot deploy this turn.
And we see Mother Talzin thinking about what their next turn is going to be. I bet they were trying to plan like a Talzin's assassin, kind of combination into the Chewbacca. But we see a Darth Tyrannus coming out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think we wanted the Latsratsi to attack into Chewbacca, and then we wanted to finish it off with the Tyrannus. But it looks like Chewbacca saw that coming, opted not to go with that.
Yeah, and Talzin has to do something, or else it's going to get too far down. What is that? Oh, covering the wing. I love that card.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's a very cool card.
Yeah.
It is a very cool card. It is essentially a secretive sage in space, but you get to shield something that is already there.
And now we're going to the flip with, like you kind of predicted, a stronger space presence from the Chewbacca player. 5 resources, 5 resources in tow if you consider the credit as well. So, and Chewbacca has not flipped yet with Darth Tyrannus on board.
It kind of feels like the Chewbacca knows this matchup very well. Really playing it slow, not giving into his opponent's play lines, right? Mother Talzin, as powerful as she is a somewhat predictable deck. You know exactly what your opponent's options are. And so if you choose to not play into them, like for example, right now you have that red 3 in play, right? And if you understand what Mother Talzin does, especially looking at her deck list, you know that there is absolutely no way for them to defeat that red 3 on their first action outside of that singular no glory that they were running. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and if you are that Chewbacca player, I would love to see someone try to use an entire no glory the entire turn to defeat that thing. Oh, that's great. That would be great.
That's true. But my point is that right now, you don't need to attack immediately with that red 3. You could use Chewbacca's ability to whittle down that Tyrannus, give it that 2 damage. That forces your opponent to attack with the Tyrannus, right? Because otherwise then red 3 gets to attack the base and defeat it for free. Looks like we're just going to be seeing a hotshot maneuver instead, paying 1 to attack with the red 3, and I keep saying red 3. Is it red 3? Is it red 5? I don't know anymore. It's the red 5. Oops, red
Red
3
5.
was from a long time ago. Yeah, Hot Shot Maneuver comes in, deals the 2 damage to that Tyrannus. It is finished off by the red 5 on swing, and that completely denies any kind of force shenanigans that Mother Talzin might have wanted to do there.
And Mother Talzin comes in, swings for 3, uses her ability to defeat the token. Looks like nice.
That's what we missed. Mother Talzin hadn't passed as the first action. They had used the leader ability on the X-Wing token to whittle it down to a 1/1, and now it was finished with the Mother Talzin attack instead.
4 open resources. I wonder if Talzin's gonna pass. Nope. Looks like he did.
Looks like Talzin passed, and Chewbacca said, "I've done enough this turn. I'm just going to claim the initiative." Very well played by the Chewbacca here, understanding that while you can't afford to go too slow, going too fast into Talzin is also a bit of a mistake. You ended up using 2 resources worth that turn, while Talzin used 0, so you do still come out ahead, especially with a shielded red 5 that is borderline impossible to deal with from Talzin. I mean, you would need to combo a Talzin's Assassin with the Mother Talzin attack. You would need the glory.
But then if you do that, you don't. Well, if you do that, then you leave a free, pretty much Chewbacca to just deploy because you're not scared of the craving power, for example. That might come out, So great. I think this Chewbacca player, Lucas, is definitely doing a really good job keeping Mother Talzin on her toes.
Right, and kind of making it so the Mother Talzin has to be the first one to act. He is using his leader ability extremely carefully and making it so his opponent always needs to be the first, the one to play on the button to then answer what his opponent does, which is exactly the opposite of what Talzin likes to do. Talzin likes to play it slow and then use cards like the Craving Power to clear out the opponent's board while they then go on the aggressive. But see here, that red 5 attacking put that Talzin down to 3 health. And now Chewbacca is likely going to use his leader ability, take that down to 1 health. And at that point, if Talzin doesn't attack, Chewbacca will be able to defeat it for free by attacking after deploying.
Some quick statistics. This is the 4th time these 2 players play against each other at Planetary Qualifiers. No, the 3rd time. The Talzin player has won 2 of these matches, and 1 of them was a draw. So Lucas still needs a win in Planetary Qualifier or up against Ambrose. Will today be the first win? We will see.
I am now that you told me that story, gotta root for the underdog. So I am Team Lucas all the way.
I mean, I know that what you meant was that they did not meet in finals. I hope, because if they have met each other 3 times and 4 times in finals, these are some incredible players. But yeah, okay. But I mean, look, the caliber of player that you have to be to constantly be playing at such a high level, you kind of get to know all the other top players, right? And these two players probably know each other extremely well, and they understand each other's play lines, they understand each other's play styles, and that is a very, very big factor that sometimes is overlooked.
In the Talzin's hand, we see condemns, arrestor cruisers, and I think a constructed lightsaber. I can't see the other side.
We see an 8th brother. We're seeing the sun. It's a very top-heavy hand. A lot of expensive cards that aren't gonna do much this turn, and Lats Razzie just in case, And I believe Talzin's at 6 resources, right? It's really hard to track with the amount of resources that just go into the discard from Chewbacca. I believe he's at 6. Yeah, so we're gonna see that condemn come down here, leaving exactly 3 open for the Lats Razzie, and that is a very good play. I mean, it's the only play he had available, but it is a good play nonetheless, because now, in a combination with Mother Talzin attacking into it, you'll be able to defeat the Chewbacca with Lats Razzie.
And this is assuming, well, he has the shield. He still has the potential shield from the base. So
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You can steal the shield from your red 3 if you want, or you can just defeat one of your credits. Depends on how you want to handle this turn. You kind of have to do it first, though. We've seen in the past that Chewbacca has been attacking and then using the base to protect himself, but he kind of has to do that first. It's a somewhat predictable play. You only have 3 resources open. You've seen your opponent's deck list. You know that at 3, the only proactive play they can make to damage your Chewbacca is going to be the Lance Razzie. We're going to ignore this minor earthquake that's shaking the board. But yeah, with only 2 resources open, there's not much else you can do. Yeah, it looks like we're going to... Oh, okay, we are going to take the shield token from the red 5.
Well, I think that's pretty smart. The red 5 at this point is effectively kind of neutered as a card. We see that Cantwell Arrestor Cruiser on in the hand as well. But I would, yeah, taking it I think is probably the right move. Don't want to sacrifice a credit if you don't need to.
I mean, Last Razzie is still going to come down, of course, but you're kind of forced to give a shield because otherwise Chewbacca would defeat it for free. But even then, only being at 2 power, that means next turn it's not going to be able to defeat the Chewbacca single-handedly. Honestly, Chewbacca is navigating this so well. Extremely good play from Lucas here. But I mean, you are neutering your own resources like crazy. We are down to only 2 resources in play and 3 credits, admittedly, which are probably about to be used.
I hope he puts more units down because with that Cantwell Arrestor Cruiser coming out, Chewbacca is going to be frozen in place. The red 5 is going to be able to do no damage on board. He needs to be able to pump more damage or he's going to be stuck at 14 for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. I think I'm seeing a moral authority in Chewbacca's hand. That's an interesting bit of a tool here. I don't know if that's going to be very useful. That Arrestor Cruiser has 7 health, and Moral Authority is able to capture something that has less health than it, or HP. So we're going to have to wait and see how this goes. Chewbacca chose to not resource. Am I seeing this right?
Let's see. He puts 2 down.
Yeah, no. He had 2 resources and 3 credits. I believe they're going into this turn. He did not resource. I'm seeing a Commence the Festivities in hand, and I think that last card might be an Aggressive Negotiations, which is probably why we didn't resource. But that's crazy. Going into this turn only having 2 resources and a credit. I mean, I feel like we're shaping up for this to be the final turn.
Seems to be playing so.
We might still be thinking, no, Chewbacca has decided that they're ready. Mother Talzin still has not untapped, or rather readied their resources or their units, so still thinking, I think. Going up to 7 makes perfect sense. We did also see a Craving Power in hand for Mother Talzin. But the thing is, you can only deal with one of these units. The Arrestor Cruiser is a powerful card. Craving Power is a powerful card. But it only deals with either the Chewbacca or the black one. And the problem is that if you do show either one of them, the other one can then get pumped up, right? You don't know what your opponent has in hand. Maybe there's a Mastery. Maybe there's something else. And it looks like it's going to be neither one of those options. And we're just going to see the 8th brother come down and take Chewbacca out. Oh, never mind.
Looks like they're taking it back. Oopsie daisy. I wonder what the calculus was to take that back. I mean, no new information. It's still fine to take it back. I think he's probably going to consider.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the finals of a matchup like this, you are usually surrounded by a bunch of curious players and all of the judges at the tournament, right? There's no other games for them to watch. So I don't think there will be any faux pas in terms of mechanics here, unless the judges themselves are asleep. But it looks like we're just gonna we're gonna redo the same play. It's a bit of a risky play, honestly, because if Chewbacca has upgrade removal, you can liberate that red 5, and on attack, that red 5 would end up defeating the 8th brother. I'm really curious as to why they chose to use this instead of the Craving Power or something else.
Yeah, I don't know. That's very interesting. Maybe they were afraid of like a system shock or something coming in, defeating the Rat's lot, because that would be on the Lats Razzie, right?
No, you,
Um,
you you wouldn't be able to do a system shock. You need to defeat an upgrade for a system shock to do a damage, and because Chewbacca had already defeated the shield on it, you can't use it.
mm,
Oh, maybe that's why. But it might be the only blue villainy card in Talzin's hand, and he did not want to play it for risk of that red 5 being able to deal damage.
right. I always forget about disclose as a new semi new mechanic. I mean, that is 2 sets ago at this point. But playing another red 5 to defeat the condemned unit,
Yeah,
and we see Talzin taking initiative.
yeah, with pretty much no actions left for Talzin. I don't think there's anything you do at 1 resource. Good play. Basically treating that red 5 as if it's an upgrade removal, right? But you're slowing down. The steam is running out here for Chewbacca. We are finally resourcing back up to 3. We kind of have to. You can't really aggressive negotiations with just two resources.
Let's
Yeah.
see what he plays. I do see a moral authority. I see another ship. I think I see aggressive negotiations and commence of festivities in
the
his
thing is,
hand. So
if what I said is true, if that Cantwell Arrestor Cruiser is the only blue villainy card in Talzin's hand, that means that the cruiser itself can't come down. You have nothing left to disclose. And that might be a major factor into why we saw Eighth Brother instead of the cruiser.
yeah, we're just waiting to draw the right cards to be able to play it. For sure.
Yeah, everyone just always assumes that disclose is a given, but it truly, truly isn't. Looks like you guys are just gonna have to ignore everything I just said. We do indeed have multiple other cards here. Maybe they were drawn off the top. Who knows? The Arrestor Cruiser does come down, and it does actually trigger Eighth Brother using the Force, giving it +2/+2. So not only are you, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see Eighth Brother really pop off. We talked about it earlier in the match. One of my favorite cards in this kind of color combination for Talzin. So, doing 7 damage on board, turning off the red 5. Ooh, great swing.
Yeah, very powerful, and I believe it's not even a once-a-turn ability. I don't realistically see anybody using it more than once, but you have the ability to do so if you absolutely want to, right? You can attack with the Eighth Brother, generate that Force back, play another unit, use the Force again, and then give it +2/+2 to Lats Razzie to then swing again. At that point, it kind of acts like the sun, giving a pump to your entire board. Oh, we are, however, going to see Chewbacca use his leader ability. And if you do deal the 2 damage to the Eighth Brother, even though it's not going to be defeated immediately, it would be defeated at the end of the turn. But it looks like we're not going to be doing that. Instead, we're just going to take care of the Lats Razzie.
Which is okay. All right. I could see a reason for that. And we see the pilot, I think it's R2 pilot, coming onto the black one, so able to do 2, 3, 4 damage, start putting pressure back on the
That
base.
extra little power that black one gets when he has piloted, or rather when he is upgraded in general, is such a good ability. And we somewhat, I don't say we know, but we're guessing that there's an aggressive negotiations in hand here for Chewbacca. We don't know exactly how many cards they have in hand. I would guess somewhere around 3, so it's not quite enough to finish the game just yet. And it seems like Chewbacca is wondering if it's worth claiming the initiative instead of attacking.
Honestly, it might be. I mean,
I might be wrong on that. What did Talzin do when the R2 was equipped? I think Talzin must have probably claimed here. So there's a good chance that we're just thinking whether it's worth it to aggressive negotiations blindly anyways.
Not many options in Chewbacca's hand to be able to play. That's for sure.
The thing is, you are holding a moral authority. So if you do attack the base here, and then that cruiser opts to trade into the black one, you can then finish it off using the not finish it off, but rather capture it with the moral authority. But yeah, okay, it looks like we're just going to use the commence of festivities here. Attack for a solid 6 damage onto the base, bringing it up to 22. This kind of forces the Mother Talzin to deal with the black one immediately, otherwise the game would end. Yeah, I believe we've done one less damage.
He's pointing at it now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The math was not mathing.
Genau.
Yeah, once you're at that level, you don't want to gotta make sure people have the right damage counters.
22.
Yeah. And again, this is likely the fatigue kicking in for these players. I don't think anybody is intentionally cheating when you're in the finals, when you're already qualified for Worlds, and when you're being watched by somewhere around 3 judges. It would be a crazy mentality to try and do so.
Der macht 4.
Oh,
think
we are
Talzin has-
resourcing. We are resourcing for Chewbacca, going up to that majestic 3 resources when we are on what feels like round 12. Bold move.
I think, Mother Talzin has to deal with the Black One, which he does with the Craving Power. Really good.
Good
You gotta
choice here.
deny that.
It's a great choice. I assumed that they would maybe attack into it with the cruiser. Oh my god, looking at the hand for Chewbacca, there is not a single unit. And you would have thought that the perfect answer to this Craving Power would be to simply develop another unit in play. But it kind of seems like we don't have that option here. That might just be what ends the game for Chewbacca.
Das habe ich auf 6 gespielt, das habe ich auf 7 gespielt.
Curious what Chewbacca is trying to count out.
Das habe ich auf 8 gespielt, gerade vorher und halt auch eine Ressource.
Right. I mean, at the moment we're seeing 6 plus 7, big math there, 13 damage on Talzin's board. Not quite enough to defeat Chewbacca's base. I think that's a nimble prowess that we might be playing here. Oh no, it's a mastery. Interesting.
Putting it out of range, right, for the Cantwell to defeat.
Yes, and most notably putting it at 7 health, which means you would be able to capture it, I believe, with moral authority, right? No, sorry, moral authority says with less remaining HP on it. So you would need to use Chewbacca's ability on the cruiser first, and then you'd be able to capture it. But even then, if you capture it next turn, you won't be able to attack until the turn after, and you're still giving Talzin a bunch of time to potentially deal with it. Yeah, okay. Chewbacca realizes that's going to be it. They're going to move on to, I believe, game number. Was that the second?
No, no. I think they won. This is the second game, so I think they're done.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, we're gonna move on to nothing. Yeah, okay, that's gonna be it, guys. We have a winner here. Mother Talzin takes it out, and I mean, to a certain extent, I would say, as expected, right? Mother Talzin does very, very well into Chewbacca, but it was much closer than a lot of people would have expected, right? A great play, a great showcase of play and sportsmanship from both players. I think we saw some excellent play lines either way, and a big congratulations to Ambrose for winning this, for getting another 100 points. It was a phenomenal tournament to watch and a privilege to cast it.
Yep. Thank you so much for having us, everybody. Appreciate you all for supporting the Holocron Card Hub, as well as listening to us, Dinosaur Gaming and Paddle Unlimited. We hope to do this again sometime in the future. And again, congratulations to Ambrose for his top finish with a really good plays with Talzin Green.
Yeah, and with very unique decks in the top 8, this was a very fun tournament to follow.
Yeah, no, it is. It's the second game. The first game, they just got locked. Chewie got locked out. Yeah.
Wait, they are.
Wait.
No. They are continuing. That was sideboarding. I think I missed up the overlay. Oh my god. That's quite embarrassing. But we now got a spoiler on how good the the send-off message will be. So we still have another match to go. Oh God, I'm sorry. That's quite embarrassing, but my mistake.
Are we live or not yet?
Yes, we are live.
Well, that was an embarrassing mistake by all three of us because we cannot count up to 2. More realistically, I was relying on the overlay,
Same.
which was a rookie mistake here. That makes more sense. I kind of felt like this game was a long one, and we are now going to go into game number 2 here. Gil, you want to take part of the blame and say something here?
Yeah, you know what? Relying on overlays instead of our exact memories and following the crowd is definitely not something we got something to take account for the future. So,
Yeah, I mean,
not
look,
taking back.
the players can
Definitely
use the
not.
excuse that it's been a long day. We cannot. For us, it's still very early on in the day. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna say it's the time difference because I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to check the stream and stuff. So
There you go. We are
that's
digitally jet lagged. That's what's happening here.
For me,
I will
it's
not
almost
take-
12 hours. So
yeah.
You know what?
Oops.
I will
know
not
that-
take back though the fact that these are very strong players.
Yes.
That both of them have spicy decks that I have not seen recently. Like a Mother Talzin coming out with a mastery, for example. No shatter points in a force deck, right? Like what? I've never seen these types of combinations before, and just kind of shows that this game, people can innovate and succeed, which I absolutely love, especially going into the sector qualifier next week. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Europeans bring in terms of the heat, right, for their decks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can visibly see the difference in metas between Europe and US, and honestly, to a certain extent, even other regions, right? Like some of them, like Asia, might not have the same amount of players, and you see a lot of overlap with European players and Asian players. But in general, like the huge shift in what players are bringing to these tournaments and what success they're having shows a difference in mentality and in play style. How big of a difference that makes in terms of what deck is considered the best or not.
Right. I had the Nexus Gaming on my channel the other day as part of our 100 episode celebration, and I asked them a question. I asked, who is going to win Galactics this year, Europeans or North America? And I mean, he's this if anything, this match is swaying me to siding with him. Because these are cards like that are just coming out. Like I'm excited to just see what the future holds.
I just want to say that as soon as you said it was swaying you, the table started swaying over to the right, and I guess we will be commentating only on Chewbacca this game.
I do. So let's see what we got.
We'll hopefully get that fixed real quick.
Yes.
But, oh man.
Well, let's truly analyze the
there
hand.
you go. There we go. We are back to normal. It's okay. The players were still shuffling. We're just.
And we don't have
this
any
one-
more glare on Chewbacca's side now, so worth it.
Well, there you go. Yes, absolutely worth it. You did lose that halo of light advantage for Chewbacca, though. Didn't really help him that much in the first game.
If anything, it made him hard to see his cards. Made it hard for him to see his
That
cards.
must be it. That must be it.
Debuffed. Starting off with a Secretive Sage. Mirror.
Yeah, but this is interesting because now Chewbacca has the capability of using Alliance Outpost, taking off the shield, and deploying Chewbacca on turn 2. Probably after attacking with Secretive Sage. So actually, I don't know. It's a bit risky. If you do it after attacking, that means you can no longer. Your opponent has the opportunity to take out your shield. So I don't know if we'll be doing that. I guess we're gonna wait and see what Talzin opts to do. But I think the right play here would be to attack into the shield, take it out. That way you can't deploy Chewie early.
Right.
Or that works too. Basically, somehow take that shield off, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Another
Okay.
red 5 in space.
Yeah, red 5
Yep.
comes in and double shielded units for Talzin here. Probably going to take out that secret stage. Yeah, there you go. Force has been generated. Uh, this has been a very big swing on turn 2 with no injured units. But that said, Chewbacca can clear this out fairly easily, right? You can use your leader ability to take that sage out of the way. And if you do, your opponent can't regenerate the force this turn. So you're not even worried about like an assassin and a leader ability both in one.
Right. I think you kind of hold off for just a turn here. Hopefully, because that way, if they use the force with something like Talzin's assassin this turn, you can then use the Chewie ability to defeat the Secret Sage, stopping the force again, force generation potentially. I mean, slightly. I mean, because there'll probably still be units, still get to play another unit, but something that potentially slow Talzin down.
Interesting. We saw an attack here by Red 5. I would have expected them to drop that mastery on Red 5 instead. Looks like we're just going to be trading some damage. Nothing crazy so far. The fact that we did not play the mastery on the Red 5 kind of telegraphs that we're going to be seeing Chewie deploy this turn. I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's not safe for Chewie to come out on this turn because there are 2 units on board that can do up to 4 damage potentially. All you really actually need is 2 because then with the force you can Tyrannus in. Potentially you can well not Talzin's assassin, but you could still Tyrannus in and defeat Chewie. That would be a very devastating turn.
Yeah, for sure. And that's probably why these players are taking so long to think about it. Just a
2
quick
in.
little swing,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Probably saving Latrazi to be able to run into Chewbacca if it deploys, saving a unit and only popping the shield.
Interesting. We're removing the shield from Latrazi instead of dealing with the Secret of Sage. I wonder why this is. I mean, we're clearly still just stalling, hoping that our opponent either attacks with the Latrazi or deploys something. Because clearly, if you just deploy Chewbacca, that Latrazi and, as you mentioned, Tyrannus would be able to take it out. And with the way Mother Talzin has been playing, he is clearly showing that Tyrannus is probably going to come down this turn. And so with the way that we remove that shield from Latrazi, if the Tyrannus is played first, we can attack base and take that Latrazi out. I don't see that happening, but at least Chewbacca will be able to get some damage in no matter what.
Wondering if he actually does have the Tyrannus in hand, because I would play that immediately or something.
You should absolutely not play that as your first action. You should be
No?
attacking. Well, no, because if you play that Tyrannus, Chewbacca would be able to attack and defeat the Latrazi. If you instead attack
Oh,
with
right.
Latrazi first, you can finish Chewbacca off. Actually, in hindsight, I don't even know if that matters. No, I don't think it matters because then by claiming the initiative, you would be able to finish it off anyways. So forgive me for chastising you. I was in the wrong. It doesn't really matter what order you do it in.
No, I share the burden of that first one, so we're good. But I kind of like that. Making Secret of Sage a sentinel with the constructed lightsaber, making it a 5/4.
4/5.
Oh, sorry, 4/5. 4/5 on the ground. No resources for Chewbacca.
I don't like this play. I don't like this play at all. Because now Chewbacca is able to attack into it and defeat the Latrazi. Obviously, this is meant to just whittle down Chewbacca, so that next turn you can finish it off with either an assassin or Mother Talzin. But you're still giving away a lot of Chewbacca claims. Whoa. Okay. Interesting. It looks like Chewbacca did not want to double kill this turn. and instead we're just gonna wait this out. Am I missing something here? Is there a reason why you would not attack? What is this player seeing that I'm not? Oh, he is holding a constables. He wants to take that out. Oh, never mind. Take it. I take it back. I take it back. What I said earlier still stands. Chewbacca attacks, defeats the Latsrazi. Aha. See, this time
It
it was
you know what
Lucas who was wrong. So that makes 3. Now we
what
still
you
have 1 left for Gil and 1 left for Ambrose.
the technical term for this, I think, is called fluid situation, and that's what we're in. So
Yes, indeed we are. I think more than anything, the players are just bamboozling us. They're doing it on purpose to make our lives harder.
yeah. But it's good. It is interesting to see, you know, the optimal, the best lines that are out there that we're seeing are being played out in live. Like you said, you called it. You said it would be better to just clear the board, which is something that he did. After I guess some consideration, but we see the Talzin's assassin coming out. Don't know if he had it in hand the entire time or if he just drew into that, but eliminating the
I'd
Chewbacca.
like to think he had it in hand because I don't see a world where you would add the constructed lightsaber to the sage if you didn't have a way to then finish off the Chewbacca. But now with all of the resources used, you're kind of a victim to this red 5 who's going to just hit you like a truck.
Oh my gosh, yeah, saving that mastery to be able to do what 6 damage plus 2 if the one other unit was damaged on the other side.
Yeah, well, luckily it isn't, but you still have Alliance Outpost, right? You get to give this a shield if you absolutely want to, and that's exactly what we're
looks like
going to
he's
do.
doing.
Actually, we could
It's like
even
he
give
could
this
predict-
we could even give this an experience if we want. Never mind. We're just
I
gonna
mean, yeah,
attack.
experience for the extra damage. I don't know if there's what can you do next round? Maybe if you put the shield on, saving it to craving power potentially. Damage, I mean, wouldn't kill it, but
I don't think that makes a difference. Yeah, craving power would not be enough to defeat this red 5. And I think the main answers would still be no glory only defeat, no glory only results, or the arrestor cruiser, right? And I don't think a shield prevents either one of those.
right. So it looks like Chewbacca's player is gonna take initiative. Or no, he is actually gonna use his ability.
Yeah,
The
it
epic
looks like
action
Mother
is,
Talzin took initiative, opted to not attack, and Chewbacca is then going to. He's gonna give something to that red 5.
he's thinking.
An experience. Okay, it's
Experience.
an experience as we had initially predicted. Interesting that we opted to do that after the attack. It's a missed point of damage. Actually, no, it's not.
Glory?
No, it is not a missed point of damage. If you had put the experience first, Mother Talzin would have attacked. You would have taken 3 more on your base, and your red 5 would have still gotten -1/-1. So you deal 6 damage either way. So I think this was actually extremely well played by Chewbacca, and yeah, this really shows how good these players are. And right as I say that, he is immediately punished.
By no glory. Yep.
Yeah. No glory
Charismatic.
is such a good card.
Yeah, that card is just great removal. You gotta love seeing it when you are the blue villainy player, but playing against it, I always have to try to play around it. I do not like that card when I'm the opponent.
Well, the thing is, when you look at your opponent's deck list and you see that they're only running one of them, you can't afford to just play around that.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. With only 2 resources, Lucas's turn is quite stymied. Looks like he's about to turn on the jets. Ambrose putting damage onto base instead of the hit. Well, it's hidden, so can't attack it. But
yeah, I am curious over the fact that Chewbacca opted to Lucas opted to not use the leader ability this turn. Simply using 2 resources for your 4 resource turn. Your 4 resource turn. What is essentially the 6 resource turn, right? You kind of need to fill out your curve as Chewbacca. Falling behind is not something you can afford.
Agreed. And now he's going to be able to cleanly kill Nemec, for example, if he wanted to, with the Talzin assassin.
It's a bit risky. Because if you do that,
Yeah.
the spy token will be able to hit your base.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess as a if I was Mother Talzin in this situation, I would be okay with that.
Looks like instead we are just gonna completely tap it down.
And defeated again, probably
Yeah.
getting another spy token.
Do we have the disclose? I don't know if we do. We do
Oh,
not. I don't think there is
no.
not a single heroic card left in Lucas's hand. So we're just replacing the Karis to get the hidden back.
That is unfortunate timing in terms of hand place, in terms of what's in his hand, because
Yeah.
suboptimal for sure.
100%. And if you had used Chewbacca's ability last turn on, say, the assassin, you would have been able to finish it off this turn, but we opted not to do that. So we're going to take another 4th base.
Now the question is, do you stick more units on? Try to stick more units on the board. I don't think he has a, because the constable will just be defeated by Mother Talzin's ability. Looks like Lucas just takes initiative. Probably just going to try to stack hands and try to aggressive negotiations, maybe.
I mean, that does seem to be the play we're going for, but there's only 14 damage on Talzin's base. Even with 6 cards in hand, that Karis is only going to be hitting for an extra 5. That's not going to be enough. Not even close to being enough.
And Talzin is showing 7 + 6. Yeah, looks like he's throwing the aggressive negotiations.
Yeah, so actually there's 6 cards in hand, right? So 7 if you count the aggressive negotiation. So that's a +6. We are attacking for 9. That does take the base up to 22. Am I mathing this right? There you go. Again, same thing.
That's 22. That's a scary
23.
number. That
23. That makes more sense. So this is a bit more reasonable in terms of maybe there's a chance that Chewbacca can close this out. But it's getting very dangerously close.
But with 2 damage, yeah, no way. What did he exhaust it? What did he do?
No, I think he's just attacking, and that's enough to win the game, right? The Lion's Outpost only has 26 health.
26.
This time, it is actually over. This time, this was game 2. I will not be bamboozled again. I was lied to by what I considered my friends, but alas, fool me once. Ambrose takes the game here, 2-0 in a very clean sweep by Mother Talzin. I will reiterate what I said earlier. It very clearly shows that Mother Talzin is a deck that is poised to completely dominate other aggro decks. And despite being a blue deck, Chewbacca is still very much an aggro deck. We were not able to build up a Voltron of a Chewbacca. And boy, some big boxes coming in here. And congratulations to the winner. Congratulations to the runner-up. I mean, it's still no joke. This was a huge planetary qualifier. I believe somewhere around 75 players, if not more. And I mean, making it to the top is no easy feat. And these players have really showcased their skill in how and why they made it up here. And clearly not for the first time, as they are both, as we mentioned, already qualified for the Galactic Championships. I cannot wait to see them. We will watch their career with great interest, right? As they say in Star Wars.
Yeah, and Ambrose is still undefeated against Lucas.
That's gotta feel bad. I mean, if I was Lucas, I would be scared to be paired up at the Galactics.
Yep. Good. Yeah, that's a thank you from me then. It feels like I got a bonus game with commentary by YouTube. So thank you very much for spending your day with the PQ here from Zurich, and you are always invited back. Thank you too.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Everybody, if you haven't yet, please check out Holocron Card Hub. What an amazing YouTube channel. Thank you so much for setting this up, and I look forward to working with both of you again in the future.
Yeah, but what's way more important, because everybody is already watching, this channel. If you are not subscribed, do so in the bottom, and please subscribe Padawan Unlimited as well. Listen to the podcast. They had the incredible feat of 100 episodes in 100 weeks, and this is so much work. So congratulations to that again. And please follow Dinosaur Gaming if you want to be on the bleeding edge of Mother Talzin deck development. Did I miss anything? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, next week we play our own tournaments, and we are back in 2 weeks with the PQ from Leipzig and Göttingen. So see you then. Goodbye.
Bye all.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.